Hey there, I'm Maria. My coworker Amy tells me for the 100th time today, "You're glowing." It's not because of the typical engagement excitement that people expect. No, my smile is for something else. Alex left a sticky note in my lunchbox with a hilariously bad stick figure drawing of us. He labeled his figure "still can't draw," and mine is "still says yes." That's what I love about us. We never follow the expected path. Take our first date, for example. Instead of the usual dinner and a movie, we ended up helping his elderly neighbor chase down her runaway pet rabbit in the rain. By the time we caught Mr. Whiskers, who, ironically, was not a cat, we were drenched, muddy, and laughing so hard we could barely breathe. The past 3 years with Alex have been full of these wonderfully quirky moments. Like the time we tried making homemade pasta and ended up with flour in places I'm still finding, or when he tried to teach me basketball, and I accidentally hit him in the face with the ball, twice. He now wears protective goggles whenever we play, looking like a dorky mad scientist. Our engagement story isn't TikTok famous. There were no flash mobs, elaborate scavenger hunts, or skywriting. Instead, Alex proposed while we were building a blanket fort during a power outage. We'd been telling ghost stories by candlelight when, right in the middle of my overly dramatic ghost impression, he pulled out the ring and said, "I want all my power outages to be with you." People keep asking me about wedding plans and color schemes, but I'm too busy enjoying moments like Alex geeking out about space facts while we grocery shop or do laundry. "Did you know astronauts can't cry in space because tears don't fall?" he'll say, his eyes lighting up like a child sharing a secret. Sometimes, I catch him watching me when he thinks I'm not paying attention, and it makes me smile even more. Like when I'm trying to solve the Sunday crossword puzzle or dancing to 80s music while loading the dishwasher. Alex has this look that makes me feel like the most captivating person in the world, even if I've just spent 10 minutes ranting about how someone ate my clearly labeled yogurt from the office fridge. The ring feels different from what I expected, not in its appearance, which is beautiful, a vintage piece that belonged to his grandmother, but in what it symbolizes. It's not just about the future we're planning. It's about celebrating what we already share. This comfortable, quirky love feels like coming home after a long day and finding your favorite meal waiting, even though you never mentioned you were craving it. Last night, we sat on our tiny balcony, sharing leftover Chinese food straight from the containers. Alex was wearing his "This Is My Fancy Shirt" t-shirt, and we mapped out our future, guided by fortune cookie predictions. According to those cookies, we'll have 3 daughters, live in a house with a purple door, and become surprisingly good at origami. Watching him then, laughing so hard at his own bad jokes that he nearly choked on lo mein, I felt an undeniable certainty. Not the fairy tale kind, but the real kind. The kind that comes from knowing someone's flaws and strange habits and still thinking they're absolutely perfect for you. Now let's check the story from Alex's side. It's been 2 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days, not that I'm counting, since I last saw that name appear on her phone. I still remember sitting in our favorite coffee shop, my hands curled around a cooling cup of coffee, as she looked me in the eye and promised, really promised, that she understood why her friendship with James made me uncomfortable. There was something different about that conversation. Maybe it was the way she reached across the table, took my phone, and showed me as she removed him from her social media. "I choose us," she said. The ring had been burning a hole in my sock drawer for months before that day. I picked it out last summer, but every time I thought about proposing, something would happen. A casual mention of meeting James for coffee, a text notification I'd catch a glimpse of, or those group hangouts where he'd always somehow be present. Each time, the ring stayed hidden, and my doubts grew louder. It's funny how much lighter everything feels now. Last weekend, we were at her cousin's wedding, and for the first time, I wasn't spending the evening wondering if she was secretly messaging him during the quiet moments. Instead, I watched her dance, terribly, with reckless abandon. Because when Beyoncé comes on, she doesn't care who's watching. And all I could think was, this is it. This is our time. The proposal didn't go exactly as I had planned. I had everything arranged, dinner reservations at that fancy restaurant overlooking the city, a violinist on standby, the works. But that morning, seeing her in her old college sweatshirt, struggling to make French toast and getting more batter on herself than in the pan, I couldn't wait. The ring was upstairs, and before I even realized what I was doing, I was running to get it. She said yes before I could even finish asking. We were so caught up calling our families that the French toast ended up burning, but not even the smell of charred breakfast could ruin that moment. We ended up at our local diner for breakfast, still in our pajamas, looking like a mess and grinning like fools. Looking back, I realize how close I came to letting my fears cloud what we have. Those long conversations about boundaries with exes, And the arguments that started with, "he's just a friend," and ended with slammed doors, they feel distant now. Not forgotten, but like obstacles we had to overcome to reach this place. Now, when her phone buzzes, she reads her messages out loud without me needing to ask. Usually about work drama or her mom's latest cooking disaster. There's an ease in how she shares her life with me now. No hidden corners or careful omissions. Just last week, she even turned down an invitation to a mutual friends party because she knew James would be there. She didn't make a big deal out of it, just said, "Not our scene, babe. Let's do movie night instead." Sometimes, I still catch myself waiting for the other shoe to drop. Old habits are hard to break. But then Maria will do something like leave sticky notes with terrible puns in my lunchbox, or send me a random text about how she can't wait to argue with me over wallpaper patterns when we buy our own place, and I remember. This is what trust feels like. This is what we fought for. The ring looks perfect on her finger, catching the light just right. But what's even more perfect is the way she absent-mindedly twists it while reading, just as she used to fidget with her hair. It's become part of her, just like she's become part of me. For the first time in our relationship, I'm not scanning for shadows in the corners. I'm looking forward. Now let's check Maria's side of the story. I've been staring at my phone for 20 minutes, debating whether to respond to James's text congratulating me on the engagement. It shouldn't be this complicated. He's just James, the same James who helped me move into my first apartment, taught me to drive stick shift in his beat-up Volkswagen, and supported me through my dad's passing 3 years ago. We dated for only 2 months in college before realizing we were better as friends. That was 7 years ago. And since then, he's become more like a brother than an ex. We were part of the same pre-med study group, both realizing we hated organic chemistry and switching majors together. James to business and me to marketing. It's funny how some people just stick around through all of life's plot twists. Alex doesn't see it that way. To him, James is an ex-boyfriend, while I see the friend who brought me soup during finals week, helped me build my IKEA furniture, even if he did put my bookshelf together backwards, and introduced me to his girlfriend, Sarah, last year. How threatening can someone be when they're the reason you have an embarrassing nickname from a botched attempt at dyeing your hair purple that turned out green? Maybe I should have set clearer boundaries with Alex from the beginning. But how do you explain a friendship that's survived 3 apartments, 2 career changes, and countless bad dates? James was there through my disastrous relationship with Mike, my quarter-life crisis when I almost moved to Seattle, and that phase where I thought I could become a professional baker. He still teases me about my rock-hard cookies. I understand why Alex feels uneasy. If the roles were reversed, I'd probably feel the same. But cutting James out completely feels like erasing a whole chapter of my life. It's not just losing a friend. It's acting as if those shared memories and inside jokes don't matter. Like the time we got so lost hiking we ended up in the wrong state, or our rainy Sunday tradition of watching terrible sci-fi movies. The engagement ring glimmers as I type and erase yet another reply to his text. I promised Alex I'd keep my distance, and I have. No more casual coffee meetups. No more group game nights where James would always play the banker in Monopoly and cheat, as if it were an inside joke only we shared. I've kept my word, but ghosting someone who has been there for every significant chapter of my adult life feels like I'm erasing a part of myself. Just last week, Sarah posted photos of their long-awaited trip to Japan, the one James had been planning since college. He's finally doing it, ticking off the dreams we once shared during late-night study marathons. I wanted so badly to text him, to tease him about the ridiculous tourist shirt he wore in one photo, exactly the kind we used to joke we'd buy ironically. Instead, I just liked the post and closed Instagram, a quiet act of restraint. Alex has been so happy lately. Seeing him relaxed and confident in us means everything to me. Still, there's this persistent voice in my head asking, shouldn't love be secure enough to survive old friendships? James wasn't just part of my past relationships. He was part of my journey of figuring out who I am, beyond just who I'm with. He knows all my clumsy attempts at adulthood, my awkward stories, my worries about turning into my mother. I read the text again. Congrats, Nance. Alex is a lucky guy. Hope you're happy. Simple, friendly, exactly what you'd expect from an old friend. After another minute, I set my phone down without replying. Sometimes, maintaining peace means letting certain bridges fade into the background, even if those very connections shaped the path that brought you to where you are now. Now let's check the story from Alex's side. It's just a birthday party, Alex. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? I look at Maria across the kitchen island, her hands cradling a coffee mug, one she got from James back in college. Even now, traces of him linger in these subtle ways. The anger building inside me isn't a sudden flame but a cold, deep-seated certainty. Let me be very clear. I say, keeping my voice controlled. Every guy who claims to be just a friend is often waiting for his chance. I've seen it before, countless times. I've watched those so-called friends comfort someone after a breakup, only to make their move weeks later. Maria opens her mouth to object, but I raise my hand to stop her. Do you know why James didn't invite me to his party? Because in his mind, I'm just temporary, the current boyfriend, or rather, fiancé, standing in his way. He's stayed close for 7 years, Maria. 7 years of being your emotional safety net. The ring on her finger catches the light, and a bitter taste rises in my throat. When I proposed, it wasn't just about that moment, or even just about love. I proposed because you finally understood this boundary, and you promised me. You looked me in the eye and said you understood why your friendship with him crossed a line. She sets down her mug so forcefully that coffee splashes over the rim. That's not fair, she says, her voice tight. James has a girlfriend. He's always been supportive of our relationship. A hollow laugh escapes me, without a trace of humor. Of course he has. That's part of the playbook, Maria. Be the supportive friend, the confidant, the guy who just gets you. But think about it. Why does he need to text you at midnight with random thoughts? Why do your catch-ups have to be just the two of you? Why can't his girlfriend or I be there? Silence stretches between us, broken only by the faint sound of a car alarm outside, which quickly fades. I take a deep breath and continue, my voice softer now. I've seen this dynamic too many times. Genuine platonic friendships between men and women are already rare, but between exes, they're almost impossible. One person almost always holds onto feelings, waiting for an opportunity. More often than not, it's the guy, because we're wired that way. We leave the door open, even if it's just a crack. Maria's face flushes with anger. So what? You're saying men and women can't be friends? That's outdated and sexist. No, I reply, holding her gaze. I'm saying that from the beginning, I've been honest about this boundary. I'm saying that I proposed to you after you understood and respected that boundary. And now, you're not asking, but telling me that you're going to his birthday party. A party where there will be drinking, dancing, and reminiscing about old times. I walk to the window, needing some distance. You know what hurts the most? It's not even about James anymore. It's about respect. Respect for my feelings, respect for our relationship, respect for the promises you made when you accepted this ring. You agreed that some things would have to change. Turning back to her, I say, I'm not trying to control you, Maria. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I can and cannot accept in our marriage. I can't accept you maintaining an intimate friendship with someone who's seen you naked. The silence that follows is heavy, laden with everything we've built together and everything we stand to lose. When I speak again, my voice is quiet but resolute. So no, it's not just a birthday party. It's a choice. If you go, you're choosing to disregard everything I've said, everything you promised, and everything this ring represents. I start toward our bedroom but pause at the doorway. You know what the saddest part is? James knows exactly what he's doing. He's testing how much influence he still has over you. And right now, you're showing him that it's more than your fiancé does. Now let's check the story from Maria's side. As I settle onto the couch, it feels foreign beneath me, every cushion a reminder that this isn't where I'm meant to be sleeping. My engagement ring feels heavy on my finger as I scroll through the photos from James's party. Each image feels like evidence of my wrongdoing. Me laughing with old friends, blowing out candles on James's cake, group shots where everyone is raising their glasses. I thought coming home late would mean Alex would be asleep and that we could deal with this in the morning. Instead, he was sitting in the dark living room, waiting for me. Had fun? His voice was flat when I walked in. No anger, which somehow made it worse. He didn't even look at my attempted smile or respond when I leaned in to kiss him. Instead, he pointed to the couch and walked to our bedroom. Our bedroom. The door shut behind him, and it might as well have been a wall. Morning light creeps through the blinds, and I hear Alex in the kitchen. My heart leaps. Maybe he's cooled down. Maybe we can talk this out. I practiced my explanation again. It was just a party. Nothing happened. I barely even talked to James. But when I enter the kitchen, Alex's expression stops me cold. He extends his hand, the ring glinting in the light, but he doesn't look up from his coffee. 2 words, he says, and suddenly I can't breathe. Alex, please. It was stupid. I know, but Maria, his voice cracks slightly. I need you to understand something. This isn't about the party. This is about trust, about respect, about choices and consequences. You tried pushing the boundary again. You defied me and broke your promise. I start crying, The kind of ugly sobbing where I can't catch my breath. I'll cut him off completely. I'll block his number. I'll stop. Alex finally looks at me, and I wish he hadn't. His eyes are red-rimmed but dry. You've made those promises before, but last night proved something to me. You'll always choose the possibility of keeping him in your life over the certainty of keeping me in it. That's not true. I shout, but even as the words leave my mouth, I know they're a lie. Every boundary I agreed to, I found a way around. Every promise I made, I've bent. And for what? For someone who, as Alex points out, didn't even have the decency to invite my fiancée to his party. Alex stands, pushing his untouched coffee away. I called Rachel. She'll be here in an hour to help you pack. Pack? The word feels foreign. None of this makes sense. Just 24 hours ago, I was planning a wedding. You have until tomorrow evening to get your things. Anything left, I'll have shipped to your mom's. His voice is gentle, but the finality in it cuts deep. I've already called the wedding venue to cancel. I grab his arm as he passes. 3 years, Alex? Are you really throwing away 3 years? He carefully removes my hand. No, Maria. You threw it away. One decision at a time. One broken promise at a time. Last night was just the final one. The next few hours blur together. Rachel arrives, looking uncomfortable and avoiding my gaze as she helps pack my life into boxes. Alex stays in his home office, the door closed. I keep waiting for him to burst out, to yell, to give me one more chance to explain, but he doesn't. The silence is absolute. It's only when I'm in Rachel's car that my phone buzzes. It's James. Hope you're okay. Alex seems really out of line here. Want to grab coffee and talk about it? I stare at the message, and suddenly Alex's words from all those arguments echo in my head. About guys waiting in the wings. About the impossibility of true platonic friendship with an ex. I turn off my phone and lean my head against the window, watching our apartment building. His apartment building now. Disappear in the side mirror. The ring sits in a small box on what used to be our kitchen counter. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.